Just imagine raising a child for 14 years, taking care of him, paying his fees, doing everything for him. And then one day, a woman suddenly shows up and says, I am looking for my son. Honestly, how do you even process that? Because at this point, who is actually the mother? And that is exactly where the drama in For the Love of Kene begins. Today we're talking about For the Love of Kene, showing on this beautiful channel, featuring Bimbo, Ademoye, Blessing, Jessica, and so many other people. And this movie actually had me thinking about one major question. What really makes someone a mother? Yeah, the person who gives birth to you or the person who raises you. So let's get into it. The movie follows Kene, a 14-year-old boy who has become extremely difficult to handle. And when I say difficult, I mean this boy was giving his mother serious problems. He was skipping school, becoming rebellious, behaving like someone who had completely lost interest in listening to anybody. Honestly, I felt for his mother because raising a teenager is actually challenging. In fact, really challenging. But when your teenager starts skipping school and becoming increasingly difficult, you begin to wonder what exactly you are doing wrong. And that is what happened. But I felt maybe she would have, gone a little bit extra, a little bit energy, because there was a scene where I saw her crying. You were told that your teenager skipped school. Why are you crying? Handle the guy properly. But then, just when you think Kene is the biggest problem this woman has to deal with, another woman enters the picture. And this woman is just not anybody. She says she is looking for her son, Kene. Now imagine again, spending 14 years raising a child, loving him, caring for him, worrying about him, and then suddenly his biological mother comes back into his life. The situation is even more complicated because Kene's biological mother had him when she was 18. At that time, she gave him up for adoption. Like, she felt she was not ready. And yeah, she wasn't ready. But years later, she came back because she wanted her son. And this is where I think the movie became really interesting, because it would have been very easy to make one woman the villain and the other woman the victim. But the story didn't really do that. Yeah, because yes, Kene's biological mother gave him up. But does that mean she no longer has the right to love him? Okay? Does that really mean she no longer has the right to love him? Does it mean she cannot regret her decision? And then on the other hand, what about the woman who actually raised him? She was the one who was there for him for 14 years. She was the one who took care of him. At some point, I was completely pissed at the way Teniola, played her role. At some point I was pissed because why is she coming back to the picture? You're coming for a child you gave up. Not like the child was taken away from you. So what was all this action? But the thing is, I completely understand why she was devastated when Kene's biological mother suddenly returned. Because motherhood is not just about giving birth, it is also about being present. And Tenny was not present. It is all about sacrifices. She was not there. It is about the little things you do to every single day to raise your child. Tenny was not there. But then we also have to consider Kene himself, because this boy clearly needed help. He wasn't just being rebellious for no reason. He had become extremely difficult. And interestingly, his biological mother seemed to be the person who was able to get through to him. I mean, she had the energy, she could fix him. The part where she, changed it for him, I say, yes, that's the energy, yeah? This is what Kene needed. Not some soft or gentle parenting. No. She was able to give him the kind of discipline and strong guidance that he needed. And that was one of the things really took the movie from the way it was to way something bigger. Sometimes loving a child isn't enough. Sometimes children need love, but they also need boundaries. They need discipline. They need someone who is willing to tell them they are wrong and actually stand on their ground. As for the performances, I think Bimbo, Ademoye and Blessing just carried their roles well. The emotions, the conflict between the two women was unbelievably good. You could understand why both of them felt the way they did. Yeah, overall, For the Love of Kene is a movie that raises really interesting questions about motherhood, about adoption, forgiveness, discipline, and what it actually means to be a parent. You can see that. You see? So there is more. Overall, For the Love of Kene is a movie that raises some interesting questions about motherhood, about forgiveness, about discipline, about what it means to be parent, because sometimes motherhood is biology, but sometimes motherhood is the person who stayed. Yeah, I think I love that. All right, bye.